fitness involved. There was racism involved.
Yes, there was. Oh my gosh, racism and fitness.
Yeah. And then the one little like outlier about the gorilla grip.
Mm. I'm Max.
And I'm Harjot.
Join us as we discuss the latest scroll-stopping content.
This is Scroll Interrupted. Like it's not sanitary, and
No.
not just sanitary. I don't think it's safe to put Gorilla Glue somewhere so that you can have a gorilla grip. Hi, I'm Harjot, and cancer is my entire personality, at least for the next couple of months. Strap in.
Hi, I'm Max, and my personality I guess would be bestie / cancer ally.
But would she say this off camera, or is it strictly performative allyship? Anyways, enough about my serious
Okay,
stuff.
let's talk about the show. What are we doing today?
We're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about the Met Gala, finally. It's finally hit our desks. We're a little bit late to the party.
It's been in the inbox for a bit.
We've been fermenting. No, that's not the word. It's not fermenting. We've been formulating a bacon. We're also talking about 100 men versus a gorilla.
No, unethical crowdfunding around a specific topic. We'll get into that. Ladies at the gym and the things we have to deal with. And then we're also going to be talking about, what am I talking about? Oh, millennials and their midlife crisis.
Okay, roll the damn clips. Okay, so let's get into the Met Gala. Obviously, there's been a lot of drama discussing, some of the celebrities that were there, some that were expected, some that were not. One big thing is that there was a lot of brown representation that was definitely lensed for the very first time in the Met Gala's history. And a lot of South Asian people, Indian people like myself, were very happy to see, good South Asian representation.
Love to see the community.
Namely, Shah Rukh Khan, who is like the biggest Bollywood actor, was there. Dilijit Dosanjh was there, among other Bollywood actors. Dilijit Dosanjh is actually Punjabi, so he's outside of Bollywood, but he's a Punjabi singer who's pretty huge. And has a huge following in Canada and the States. Yeah. So some of the drama that went down there was some backlash from the South Asian Indian community about the way that Shah Rukh Khan was treated. There is this thought that America can be a little bit self-centered in the way that they perceive celebrity and perceive people who are not, American, let alone white. However, I also want to throw into the mix that the theme this year for the Met Gala was blackdandyism. I think it was like fine tailoring or something like that. Yeah. The term dandy, if you don't know, is originates from like Europe. It was used to describe men who dress, more flamboyantly, like back in the day when it was like colonial times.
Suit type of thing.
Yeah. And so blackdandyism is about reclaiming, some of that ornamented sort of like look, that regality, because it was associated with status. So with the origins of dandyism being that, it was interesting to see how some of the South Asian representation approached the theme. Okay. While it is a big deal that there is South Asian Indian representation at the Met Gala, it's also important that when we step into these spaces that are shared with other people of color, specifically with Black people, especially during a year in which the Met Gala is about Black excellence. Yeah. And so did we show up to the party acknowledging that? POC solidarity is really what this is about. Yeah. But okay, I'm going to stop rambling now, and I'm going to play a clip that really, I feel like
it's good context, good background.
Hits home.
Bothered me all day about the Met Gala is the fact that those interviewers who were interviewing Shah Rukh Khan did not know who he was, and he's being so humble about it.
What the hell? I actually think I'm gonna cry. And I know that sounds crazy, but as a South Asian girl, we don't get any representation.
True.
When I saw the interview, it pissed me off because the way they were acting and the way they were talking to him was he's nobody.
Oh my God, Kim, people are dying. And I mean that literally. Did you guys know that our countries were at war? Did you? But this is what you decided to come on the internet and cry about? You guys can't be serious. You are entitled to feel disappointed that it wasn't the glazing interview you would have liked. That your favorite South Asian, global icon was not represented the exact way you would have liked on a night celebrating Black excellence. You can feel let down by the tone or the question's lack of depth. But to use this bland AF interview as an excuse to be anti-Black, are you out of your goddamn damn mind? Did I miss something? Did they hurl racial slurs at him or sacrifice his firstborn on the carpet itself? Because what are you talking about? If you are truly upset about Americans co-opting and commercializing our culture without acknowledging the figures and origins responsible for creating said culture, I am with you on that. Go yell at Vogue. Say whatever the you want to Cartier or Anna Wintour. But you know what group understands cultural appropriation in this country better than any other? Black Americans. You're yelling at the wrong people. We are only able to be in the conversation of representation because of them. But y'all are so pathologically allergic to solidarity that you cannot understand that.
Okay.
Yeah, so clarify with me the creators that she was stitching with. Who were the theys?
Yeah, so I didn't like the term they.
Yeah.
It was creating distance again.
Yeah.
Like POC solidarity means that us people of color need to really respect and work with Black people who have been the foundation of turning over a lot of like oppressive regimes and racism here in North America. So, and specifically the they that you're asking about was the two Black women that we're interviewing. One was Tiana Taylor and Ego Nwodim. I think I'm saying that right.
You're probably not. But
I'm probably not.
You're looking at me and I'm like, I don't think so.
You know, I'm sure they do get like a list. They get like a package, right?
Sure.
You get like a PR package of like everyone that comes through, but it's a lot of people. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of pressure. There's cameras. There's a lot going on. It is like an event that's centered around Black excellence. So, you know.
They're probably excited and more focused on creating more space for like the Black artists who are coming through.
True, and like they did acknowledge, it's not like they said anything bad to him.
Right.
They did acknowledge his celebrity. They did acknowledge that he is an actor. They just maybe didn't know the weight of that within the whole context of Bollywood, and that's fine. Like there are a lot of people that get interviewed on the red carpet that don't have that same sort of knowledge for people that are like North American celebrities, right? So I think, and if we go back to like the person who was being interviewed, Shah Rukh Khan himself, he didn't seem to care. Like
he's like, I'm invited. I'm looking great. Like this is a great time.
I think this sort of like, oh, he had to be so humble. I'm like, first of all, what's wrong with that? Jesus, oh my God. He's a celebrity. Like, it's okay. He will survive. He will carry on, right? I think the real problem was when Sabyasachi, who was like the designer, he was working with Shah Rukh Khan, he had styled him for the night. You know, he had said this line that actually rubbed me the wrong way. If we're talking about anything that was bad in that interview, I wanted to represent Shah Rukh Khan as Shah Rukh Khan. So it's kind of like, oh, so are you saying that this celebrity is above the theme?
Right. Now you're taking the theme and just saying like, I didn't care about it, and like I'm just making, like you said, making this about centering me.
Shah Rukh Khan did get glazed, and it was by his designer. Like he fully, like it's like you could tell like there was a switch in his brain where he's like, I'm not gonna let these interviewers like disrespect him. Like they didn't, you know, they're just doing their job. He had like a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. It was very clear. The other thing I quickly wanted to just throw in here was, so the Punjabi singer who was there, Dilijit Dosanjh, he was dressed in, you know, it's kind of questionable whether or not he was meeting the theme of blackdandyism. You know, he wasn't, but still he was wearing something that reflected that from his own culture, from Punjabi culture. Very regally dressed.
Yes.
Almost like
white and gold.
It was giving Maharaja. Like that was the goal, right?
Adorned in jewels.
Exactly. And so I think one of the things that would have just made that outfit chef's kiss, as a lot of creators have mentioned, is the Patiala necklace.
Why did Cartier not let Diljit wear the Patiala necklace? If you live under a rock, Dilijit Dosanjh for the first time ever attended the Met Gala and completely nailed his look. The theme was dandyism, superfine tailoring, and he pulled through wearing a perfectly tailored sherwani, a look very clearly inspired by the Maharajas of Patiala, even down to the infamous Patiala necklace. You know, the necklace that said Maharaja commissioned Cartier to make for him almost 100 years ago. The biggest necklace that Cartier has ever made. Really? The biggest commission that Cartier has ever fulfilled.
Wow.
However, the one that Diljit wore was a replica created by a different jeweler. There are sources online confirming that Diljit's team did in fact request the necklace from Cartier, but it was denied, as it was locked up in a museum or too fragile to be lent out, which makes no sense to me. Because if you guys remember, at the 2022 Met Gala, Cartier very generously lent out the Patiala choker to YouTuber Emmachamberlain to wear, which became a huge controversy online. Mind you, she wasn't even referencing the Maharaja for her look.
Obviously, if you're Emmachamberlain, you could get access to the Patiala choker, But if you're somebody who is actually from,
The
you know,
culture.
the culture where the Patiala necklace should have, you know, stayed, that's something that like you don't get access to.
Right.
Yeah.
Racism.
It's racism. It's racism, and I think like that's really sad because
like who's worthy to be represented by these brands? Where do they believe true celebrity
well,
lies?
a lot of these important heirlooms and treasures that were, you know, a part of specific cultures have been stolen. And have been, you know, put up in museums across the world and, you know, the UK and in America where they don't belong, right? And so like Cartier had an opportunity to really, you know, step out there, maybe dispel some of the racist
make
rumors.
some amends.
Yeah, make some amends and not
Makes you think.
if the Patiala necklace is too fragile, okay, then maybe Cartier, this is your time. Like step up, create a replica, but they didn't.
Yeah, just to have your name associated with such a beautiful collaboration would have been good PR. I'm sure a lot of you have had this pop up in your algorithm, but in the news there was an incident of a woman who was at a park, I guess with her kid, and an incident happened, and all you see is a man who's really upset. And what the story is this white woman, which is important to the story, named Shiloh Hendrix, apparently called a 5-year-old child, black child, the N-word. And then when being filmed, you know, usually people are like, no, I didn't, like they'll deny it. She actually like doubles down and she says it, like she doesn't care.
Gross.
And so as usual, these types of stories do hit, you know, our algorithms, our For You pages, and everybody gets like really upset by it. But I want to say strange, but it's actually maybe not strange. Thing that happened is that the racist, she ended up having a GoFundMe, but then that got canceled, and instead had a crowdsourcing fundraiser on another platform called givesendgo, which is apparently a Christian fundraising platform.
Oh God.
But is probably a dog whistle for like white nationalists, because they've also had fundraisers for like Kyle Rittenhouse. If you don't know him, he's the guy that went across state lines and fatally shot protesters. And also for...
He was applauded as some sort of a hero. It's
yeah. So her fundraiser on givesendgo has over 700,000 USD. Depending on where you are in the world.
Oh my God, that's just shy of $1 million.
Using it to relocate. And the goal is like $1 million. It used to be way less, but I think as the money kept going up and up, she's like increased, or whoever's in charge of it has increased the amount. And so, you know, everybody was just like frustrated and reaching out to givesendgo, but givesendgo, the CEO, has been on the news and just doubling down that it's like freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. Now, what has happened is people are frustrated and smarter people have decided like, this is not right, other than just like retelling and rehashing this story on their platforms. There's actually one woman who I wanted to make sure to give a platform to, and her name is Keandra.
Okay, so I haven't talked about this a whole lot, but I have been so bothered by this. When I say I have been disgusted by this, there was this white woman named Shiloh Hendrix who called a black baby the N-word. And then when she was exposed, she went on to raise, I think it's at $1 million now. She has raised $1 million on this crowdfunding page for calling a black kid the N-word, right? I was so bothered by that, and everybody's like, what can we do? What can we do? Y'all know me for cyberbullying people, but that was not going to be enough, so I'm going to tell y'all what I did.
You know me for cyberbullying.
I've been thinking, I've been strategizing, I've been doing a little sleuthing, right? So what I thought about as a business owner, what do I want to hit? Do I want to hit her, or do I want to hit the money? So I thought about that. So I started searching and trying to figure out, how can I find this funding source? I'm a business owner, I own a retail store, so I know there is a funding source. There's a pipeline somewhere, right? givesendgo is the platform she uses, but they are not the bank. So I thought, like, we got to find a bank. And most banks are not going to want to be attached to something like that, right? Like most banks, especially payment processors, they will cut that off with any type of doubt or controversy. They'll usually just cut it off, right? So what I did, I used to be a web developer, so I know how to code and I know how to read code. So I went and I broke down the code on GiveSendGo's checkout page, line for line.
Inspect
and there
source?
were keywords
Yes.
I wanted to look for, right? So
Search.
I looked for the keywords and I started looking through the keywords and I found the keyword Block Inc., right? That's familiar, right? Block Inc. is the parent company of Square. So I went and I did my researching and it turns out, yeah, that's their payment processor. So I'm going to attach and I'm going to share ways we can contact both Block Inc. and Square. So we want to hit both of them so they can't ignore us, right? But there is a process to report stuff like that. And I don't know if they just didn't think we'd find it out, but yeah, we found it out. So I'm going to share how y'all can report. Stop reporting to GiveSendGo. They don't give a They supported Kyle Rittenhouse, the January 6th rioters. That is literally what they do. That platform thrives off hate. So we don't want to hit them. We want to hit the money. And see, GiveSendGo is a for-profit company, and they pretty much can do what they want to do. But when it comes to banking and payment processing in this country, we do actually have laws and regulations surrounding that. So any type of bank or payment processor has to have a clear-cut policy that prevents them from funding hateful things like that.
She was saying, she was responding to a lot of people saying, but what can we do? What can we do? And it sounds like a lot of people were like, you know, GiveSendGo, like this is terrible, like writing emails to the CEO, but then plot twist, the CEO is like, I like it.
My sort of like encouragement or call to action would be if anyone can build on this and get like scrape a list of people who could, if that's even possible.
Yeah, so it's still going on. Like, this is one strategy of making sure the money doesn't make it into her hands. But unfortunately it's still ongoing. Like GiveSendGo is still receiving like the donations, but not,
of course they are,
not sure if it's going to be fully processed. Like imagine making the most money in your entire life for abusing a baby.
Talk about harmful incentives. Like this is absolutely disgusting.
God.
And I think
that's crazy.
Puts
incentives.
a really big spotlight on the amount of secret and even not so secret like racists that are. I think somebody actually on TikTok, I saw this ignorant discourse about, you know, white exhaustion, about like, you know, white people having to like
fatigue.
Or black fatigue. Sorry.
Fatigue.
Yeah, they got like getting sick of like having to
deal with black people in spaces existing. I know, it's so ridiculous. I've seen that. And
so it's like, what are you secretly holding inside of you? You know, and I guess it's this. I guess like they would go so far to make somebody a millionaire who's a terrible person, who's outwardly racist, against somebody who was like a child.
I went to the page. I went to visit the page because I wanted to see what the most accurate number was, and like, you know how on crowdfunding pages there's just like, it shows like the running like live list of people, but like it was like maybe the last one I saw was like 15 minutes ago and somebody donated $50 and another person was donating $10 and another person was donating $250. Like there's just, that's a lot of people in small increments to get to $775,000.
This should be completely alarming to everyone, and honestly, like really concerning. This is absolutely disgusting, abhorrent behavior. Okay, so it's no surprise that I love to hate on toxic men and toxic men ideology and all these conspiracy theories that they come up with. One of the more entertaining and funny, but not like laughing with you, laughing at you, versions of this was the concept of 100 men versus one gorilla. That came up on my feed, and I'm sure yours too. Basically, the premise of this is that like there are men that are now hypothesizing ways in which 100 men could successfully take on one gorilla, right? And a gorilla, just so that people know, possesses superhuman strength and could literally tear humans from limb to limb. And so there's all these like stupid sort of like theories about like, okay, well, if the first 10 men go up and sort of distract the gorilla, maybe a few of them get killed, the next 10 can go up and sort of like start to like, I don't know, like beat down the gorilla's legs or climb up its back. And like, why are we talking about this? Why is there always like violence at like the tip of the tongue of every like terrible man that gets in front of like a podcast setup?
You feel like it could be funny, like it could be a funny thing, right? Like we know of communities who could take this idea and make it funny and interesting, But then men would just take it to be like just so serious.
Oh yeah, they always would
Marines would be there, and then there would be like the survivalists, and it would be like you're boring now. Now we're talking about the murder of a gorilla.
How boring! One of the funnier theories I heard was like 100 men versus one gorilla. What about like 10 girls who wear Cookie Monster pajamas with a messy hair bun?
Yes. They're like, we'll take like only 10 like Michaelas versus like
20 Starbucks baristas.
Yeah. See, like that's fun. Not like pure like actual battle strategy.
I know. I think there was a creator that said something to the effect of the first 10 men would be made such a horrific example of that I think it would sort of get the rest of them to like back off.
Stun people.
Like y'all don't understand. Like gorillas are pretty well.
Yeah, like a single like orangutan haven't they like torn off faces of people?
Oh yeah. Chimpanzees even.
Yeah, have like ripped limbs and torn off human faces.
Like they'll just bite. They'll
so
bite
if you're
chunks off
like
out of
you drew lots, and then they're like, Harjot, you're number 17.
No!
And then you see like the first guy just getting ripped limbs, and maybe the gorilla is like losing stamina.
I'm just succumbing to cancer at that point.
Imagine how terrible of like the draft. That's the draft I would love to see.
No, God. But anyways, okay, so this one creator actually took this really funny spin on it.
Okay.
Since men are so naturally homophobic,
this
was like the best piece of content inserted into this already crazy conversation.
100 men versus a gorilla. What about 100 men versus my gorilla grip? What about 100 men come to my house and take these holes for a test drive?
Oh!
What about that? How about that? How about 100 tops come to my house right now
so threatening.
and get a limited time offer of full access to every orifice in my body, nostrils and ear holes included? How about that?
Nostrils?
Why don't we make that a trend? How about you come to my house? You.
So
I need 100 people, stat. And I'm picky, so you better be girthy, or else I'm gonna be mad, and you're gonna get kicked out. I don't play games. The only games that I play are Minecraft and Skyrim. And at the end of the day, it's night.
At the end of the day, it's night.
See, that's where it's like that's the fun conversation, not the like pure battle strategy, like boring.
See, you needed women and queer people to enter the conversation to actually make it funny, to actually make it entertaining.
Yeah. Boo. All right. If you are a woman presenting person, if you've ever been to the gym, you don't have to. Who cares? The gym is only for the people who want to go. There's always especially like a women not what is it?
Co-ed?
Yeah, I was like, what's the opposite of a women's only? Because I love a women's only gym. Let me tell you.
Co-ed.
Yeah, like a regular gym. There's always this discomfort of, is some man, probably man, gonna come approach me, bother me, either to hit on me or just to be aggressive or take up too much space or be like loud, and it's just not a pleasant experience for women. So that's not new. That's not what we're talking about. But there's been this rise in the conversation around women and what they wear to the gym. And like men are just upset that women look good. Like, you're dressing with your pants too tight. And obviously men have always had a problem with how women dress in the streets, but especially at the gym because it's distracting and you're only doing it because you're dressing up for attention, and it's like tale as old as time.
What a privileged like distraction. What a nice distraction. You should be so lucky. First of all,
my gosh, you are so blessed.
First of all, like men at the gym these days, doesn't matter straight or gay.
Yeah.
Like the outfits, the gym fits are crazy.
Yeah, the short
like
shorts.
the short shorts, the like super tight like
I don't have a problem with that.
Sweatshirts.
I love a thigh.
Yeah. Go ahead, like go off, king. But like you can't then turn around and then criticize somebody else.
Right.
Also, there's this like concept of a pump cover. That I've always I'm like, pump cover is just to like cover up like your
you told me about it.
Your pumps.
Explain what a pump cover is.
Pumps. Pump cover is basically the pump that you get from the gym with your muscles.
Yeah.
Like you basically take that off. It's
like
covering
a t-shirt, like a baggy t-shirt.
Yeah, it's covering your progress, right? That's what I thought. But like, when these guys go to the gym and they take off their pump cover, it's like a RuPaul's Drag Race reveal. It is like the most flamboyant display of like, oof.
Oh, can't get it over my big. What's the part here?
Traps.
Yeah, that's
traps.
What
my shoulder. Yeah.
That's the thing.
So I'm like, you're not really in a place to judge.
Yeah. I don't think I know. Why is it rules for thee but not for me?
Yeah.
Like, so there's a couple women fitness creators who have responded to this in the way that women always do, in a fun, interesting, like clap back way.
Show me.
All right.
Okay, you guys win. Women's gym fits are out of control. Ladies, it's time to start dressing appropriately for the gym.
What is she gonna do? Oh.
Butter churners. Look at her though, she's fit as
The Handmaid's Rear Deadlift.
And then there was another one that I just liked.
Yeah, she was a fairy. Yeah, she was a fairy.
Look at the little, what's the little? I love it. I love the response. They're just, it's not like, let's have a conversation like you and I were just having before. They were like, man, you have all these rules. They're just like, okay.
I think this just goes to show again that like when women and queer people enter the conversation, it just becomes that much more entertaining.
Yep. And then some of the comments are really funny. It's like, that's still someone's fantasy. Always something. It's always something. Like you can't exist. You can't exist. Like it's a trend that Black women have been creating for a while. It's like you're never alone, and it's always like white people always like looking at you. It's like always policing Black women in the gym and like just women in general too.
Maxine, methinks we've got a bit of a theme going on.
Do we?
Bit of an accidental theme going on.
Okay.
Because the video that I'm going to show you next is actually describing this like really unfortunate situation where a fitness influencer actually started to make remarks about people who go to Pilates and people with specific kind of bodies with specific weights. Let's watch the video and then we'll
I'm getting a lot of Pilates content on my feed lately. Like it's made a resurgence.
I don't know whether I should take a class or not.
It tells me that I'm not strong enough. I see it. I'm like, that looks
After
hard.
watching this video, you might change your mind
Okay.
if people who go to Pilates are like this.
Yeah.
If you're 200 pounds, you shouldn't be in a Pilates class. There's no reason why they should allow 200-pound people in a level 2 class.
Why is she
or
dating?
You shouldn't be allowed to be a Pilates instructor if you have a gut.
I'm well over 200 pounds. I do Pilates. I've actually taken a college course in Pilates, and I was a marketer for one of the biggest chain gyms in America. So let's get ready for Pilates while we talk about this. Fat people can never catch a break. People get angry at us when we're fat, or they get mad at us because we want to work out. One, fat people can do Pilates. Fat people can have just as much athleticism as skinny people, believe it or not. Pilates instructors can very much have a stomach. They're normal people. They might have just had a baby, and they might have a condition called PCOS. Polycystic ovarian syndrome is one hell of a condition. One of the best exercises you can do if you have PCOS is Pilates.
Yeah.
So what are fat people supposed to do?
Well, apparently nothing.
Like, don't go to the gym. You're not allowed to have like a strong body.
The hypocrisy of it, because it's like
you have a problem with them.
you bully somebody for so long, like whether it's the media bullying you or like microbullying in like situations where it's interpersonal, but fat people seriously cannot catch a break.
That is such like pick me behavior, like who are you?
It was an unsolicited opinion.
Who did she think she was gonna be like? Yeah, love that you said that, girl.
She got in her car, turned on the camera, and told the internet that like she doesn't believe that people, she's fat phobic, so that she's body shaming. And like if you spend all your time like criticizing people who are overweight or fat or just have a different body than you do, and then that you want them to go to the gym, it's always like the #1 comment you'll see in like somebody who identifies as fat, or somebody who's proudly fat, the comments will say go to the gym. When they do, then you have a problem with it. Like
them there,
maybe like
making fun of them.
Yeah, maybe like take a long hard look in the toothpaste stained mirror.
Yeah, you know what I like doing all the time, like secretly. I don't yell this. Whenever I see anyone running, age, body size, running, because I hate running. I hate running so much. I always like. in the car with the windows rolled up. I'm like, get it, girl, you're doing it. Or get it, boy, you're doing it. Look at you running. Like, I just want to encourage people.
Let people live.
Existing in public, doing something.
It's hard.
Hard, and especially if you don't have that aesthetic of a body that people are like, oh, that's a marathon runner, or that's a runner's body. When people can see you in public, you're opening yourself up to a lot of like judgment, and you know how terrible people can be just for for no reason. Like, could roll down the window, could honk, and like just be mean.
I know.
Like, get it.
There was a lot of projection in that original creator's video that was extremely toxic. She has since apologized, but it's such like
I think I heard that like she was like she's privated or something.
Yeah.
Like, I think people. I didn't even want to go look in. I was just get out of here. Like,
maybe she got bullied off the internet for the right reasons, but it's like, why would you? And I feel like a lot of people are doing like this kind of like soundbite rise to fame, viral clips.
Yeah, and this obsession with skinny is coming back too. I'm seeing a lot of
the heroin chic. There's a lesson in all this to like just mind your business.
Yeah.
And like it's really actually ignorant and childish and immature to remark on other people's bodies and to do it out in public. Like, you set yourself up for failure completely. Even if it was just a bad decision made on a bad day, it's really reflective of your character, and you're ruining your life, your family's life. These things have a ripple effect.
I just wonder, what is the scenario where this would have affected her life at all? So she shows up to a class, and there's somebody who's 200 pounds who's also in the class. What is that doing? Shows up to another class. The instructor is 200 pounds. What? Focus.
How is that taking away from your experience? It's not. It's just, oh, well, I've been conditioned to feel like this shouldn't be, an experience that I'm having in this space. So I want it gone.
Okay, the next topic video that I'm going to get into, it's a stitch. So there's an original question posed about midlife, and the creator that I'm showing is just like giving her idea of what, a midlife crisis will look like for them. Also, when you think about midlife crisis, there's a very clear image of what that is that we've seen in like movies and TV shows. What is the one that you're thinking of?
Divorce. Midlife crisis always. I think
How old is midlife, you think?
I am scared to answer that question because I think we're there.
I always was like, oh, it's so much older. It's like 50. And
yeah,
it's like a guy who dyes his hair.
There's this perception that like, oh, you live to 100.
Yeah, okay.
Not always, but 100, and then half of that is 50. But typically, we see midlife crisis happen in your 40s.
True.
Where not a lot of people
I've dated men who had their midlife at like 35, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like,
Does cancer count? Can I be a part of this conversation?
Yeah, it's like, buy a sports car, date your sexy secretary.
Yeah.
Divorce.
Yeah.
Hopefully divorce comes before the dating, but sometimes it doesn't.
Get a really bad toupee.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's the question.
I might. No.
So here's the question posed.
Millennials, have we decided what our midlife crisis stereotype is going to be?
Stereotype.
Yeah, we're retreating. We're going back to the childhood that we didn't get to have, but that we saw on TV. We're also going to game our way into some other place where housing and cars are affordable and there's grandparents to watch our children. So that's what I'm doing.
I feel like that totally hits at least my midlife crisis.
It's a very millennial adult experience that now is interesting how it's playing itself out in midlife, because a lot of the conversation around how millennials have been adulting is this regression into childhood and being like, now I have free will and I can do the things I've always wanted to do as a child. And like in that clip, she has her little Pokemon stuffy. She has her cute little, clearly like not just
gaming setup.
Not just any gaming like headphone mic setup. It has cute little ears. Like she has this whole aesthetic. And she's talking about like, I'm going to game my way and just be comfortable. And it feels also interesting from like the millennial perspective. It's not like projecting for everyone else to see. It's very like soft life version, like internally. That. What would be your
I feel like she's living it. I feel like that's pretty much mine.
Yeah.
To become a recluse in the most comfortable ways that also mirror some of like the stuff I enjoyed most in my childhood, like gaming and like anime.
Yeah.
But also like, you know, little like active hobbies as well.
Yeah, mine is like I'm getting back into like arts and crafts, and I hadn't done any of that for like 20 years.
Working with your hands, working with the earth.
Yeah, and like gaming, like, and I specifically follow accounts that are like, these are these like gentle games, comfort games that you can play on your Switch.
Maxine, I think we managed to have a bit of a theme today.
I know.
Unplanned.
Okay, what was the theme?
There was fitness. There was
Met Gala.
Fitness involved. There was racism involved.
Yes, there was. Oh my gosh, racism and fitness.
Yeah. And then the one little like outlier about the gorilla grip. Okay, so don't forget, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you can find out when we release hot new videos for your pleasure.
Yep, and make sure to follow us on TikTok at Scroll Interrupted Show, and also on Instagram where we are at Scroll Interrupted.
Anyways.
You know what? Interrupted was a word that I realized I wasn't spelling correctly off the dome.
2 R's.
Yeah, see, you knew it too. I was like, why was the red squiggly? I'm like, oh.
The R's on all of my keyboards are now just faint.